Hello, in this video, I'm going to give you another book recommendation, and that is The Richest Man in Babylon. Well, this recommendation came to me via YouTube and my internet mentor, Mr. Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn would recommend this book to thousands of people. He did several seminars where he'd recommend this book. And the reason he did that are the same reasons that I'm going to recommend this book to you, is that the book is super easy to read. It's 144 pages. It's in story mode. And it is very inexpensive. It costs less than $10. We like that. We like cheap. Well, I'm going to talk about the principles of the book. And I'm going to focus on the principles after you're out of debt. But the book does talk about the principles when you're in debt. I'm going to cover that real briefly. And that is, you're going to use 70% of your income to live off of. If you're in debt, you're still going to save 10%. So 70% to live off of, 10% to save, and then 20% goes to the debt. And you keep pounding away, go to war with debt until it's paid off. Once it's paid off, you're going to switch to 70, 10, 10, 10. The way that works is you're going to live on 70% of your income. 10% goes to someone else investing for you. Compound interest, we like that. 10% is you using that money to invest in something, whether that is your own investment strategies, stocks, etc., or saving money for a business. I started my first business under $1,000, so you can do businesses unaffordably, cheaply. You don't have to have a ton of money, and the money's out there too. So don't ever let money be an excuse, because the money's out there. Never say that I don't have enough money and that's the reason I can't start a business, because it's just not true. There's always somewhere to get money. And the third 10% is charity. So let's use an easy example and say I had $1,000 a month coming in. Well, I'm going to live on $700 a month. And I know you're probably thinking like, wow, man, I can't live on $700 a month. Well, you need to reevaluate how you spend money. I lived at home with my parents till I was 24. Is that ideal? Did I want to do that? Absolutely not. But I saved money. So let's say your objective is, or you can't stay at home and you had to move out even when you're 18. Can you get roommates? Can you have a more affordable living arrangement, perhaps? So I want you to think about the different ways to save money and to basically live on less. So 10% of that $1,000 a month is going to go to someone else investing money. All right, I know it sounds like a little amount, $100 a month, nothing, right? It's not true. With compound interest and over time, that $100 consistently can build up to be a nice chunk of change in the future. 10% for you to create something that generates money. And I'm going to recommend doing a business because, hey, I like businesses and I like creating things. Well, $100 a month, yeah, you might not start anything right away, but you're going to save and you're going to save, you're going to save. And then that money is only going to be used to some things that make more money to raise the cap. And then $100 in charity. And Jim Rohn always said this when it comes to the charity portion of it. He says, start now when you're small. When you're making $1,000 a month, that's when you want to start doing the 10% for charity. Because then it's easier. As you make more, as you make $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $100,000 a month, $1 million a month, then 10% is not going to be as difficult. And he'll always joke around and say, people say, oh yeah, I'll give 10% if I had $1 million. I don't know if you would. That's a lot of money. $100,000 to give away is a lot of money. So start small. And I'm going to kind of talk about how I use this. So I did this a couple years ago. I heard Jim Rohn say and recommend the book on a YouTube video, and I jumped on it. I bought it right away, read it, and just basically applied the principles. If you have a fixed income too, it's going to be a little bit easier to do with your bank. But my bank and most other banks, you can do set automatic transfers, and that's what I did. I would do 70%. Well, it'd all go into one account, and then 10% would go into someone else investing money. 10% would go into other investments, and 10% would go into charity. And the other investments for me to do, because I already had a bunch of businesses, was I was going to try to dabble in the stock market, which didn't work too well. But, I'm going to do a video on that later, actually. The lessons learned from stock market investing. The painful lessons learned. How about that? And 10% charity. Well, charity was a big one because when I had the book, I wasn't making as much as I'm making now. And it was still a pretty good chunk of change going into the charity account. And that money just kept building and building and building. And I didn't know what to do with it. There wasn't necessarily any organizations that I knew about or that I was very passionate about. And so the money just kept growing in there. There was a time when I almost wanted to take it out of there because I was starting another business. And luckily I didn't. So it sat in there. And then there's been a couple times now in the last year or so where I've needed that charity account for certain individuals in my life, and it's come through. And I took that money out with ease and used it appropriately. And that's a good feeling. And the money was there. And guess what? That money was not for anything else. And now I'm making more money. I've adjusted that charity account to be even higher. Still only 10% though. So it's not, that percentage never changes. And my 10% investing funds and someone else investing it, it's always 10%. At minimum, if you can do more, then yeah, absolutely do more. But so that's just a brief summary. I definitely, there's all kinds of awesome tidbits of information in the book that talk about, how to save money, how to invest money, all just different things to get you into that mode of making more money and being more successful with it. So hopefully you found this video of value, and no excuses. Buy the book right now, apply the principles. It's easy. Go to your bank, set up automatic transfers, make it automatic so you don't think about it. And that's the first step to financial freedom. And I'll talk to you in the next video.